Be not afraid. Now, that's a topic that's been percolating in my mind for a little bit now. Well, a long time, really, but it resurfaces, following the internet and the news is positively dreadful anymore. And I find myself having to step away from that to kind of restore the peace of Jesus into my life. And that takes stepping away from the quote news. But it's like a balance between being informed of what you could glean as truth going on in the world right now and stepping away from it to restore that peace, if that makes sense. Whether it's, I enjoy nature a lot, other people, music, the arts, taking a walk in nature. Um, and I spend more time in the Word of God in the prayer closet, so to speak. So I find myself having to kind of step away. And I came across a video yesterday that was just like so spot on to what I was thinking about. So bear with me, I'm going to play clips because it much more demonstrates where I'm coming from than I could come up with examples. Okay, be not afraid in the KJV is spoken 5,693 times. And in the New Testament, it is, losing track there, sorry, 1,751 times. Now, the New Testament doesn't look completely in context, but we'll just say, be not afraid is said a lot, a lot, a lot in the Bible. And it the world is really playing on our fears right now. I mean, I get a lot of anxiety and grief, and it's just very upsetting. So, I want to talk about what is God talking about? Be not afraid. Now, the most obvious would be uh, death itself, and we're all signed up for it. Okay, I mean, eventually people have to make peace with that. Here's a few more relevant verses in regard to that. But I want to dig a little deeper into it. What does this mean? In Proverbs 1, the very first proverb in the yellow, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. And I'll hop up to the green. What are they talking about? Wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity. Now, these are things to strive for. This is the fear of the Lord, is to be on the right side of things, if you will, uh, to be obedient to God's instruction, not, and in the pink, do not consent to sin or the influence of it. Uh, People that lay in wait for blood and innocence, they will be swallowed up alive as the grave and whole as they go down to the pit. Now, this isn't, I mean, that goes all the way to Revelation. The God's intention for the evil on this world and the evil influence of it. And now I don't know if there's really truth to it or if it's kind of a tale, but they say, so it is said that Jesus said 365 times, one time for every day of the year. I'm not sure about that. But Jesus himself said, be not afraid. And we'll look at Matthew 10 very quickly in the green, and fear them that kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. And, and this is a reflection of the fear of death, but it goes deeper, okay? And in the yellow, it is, you have to serve somebody. The old Bob Dylan song, you going to serve the devil or you going to serve God? You only have one master. It's in the yellow. Who are you going to serve? And I choose the God of the Bible. And then it talks about what do we do in the blue. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him I will confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him I will deny before my Father which is in heaven. Think not that I come to send peace on earth. I come not to send peace, but a sword. Now, Jesus came the first time as the lamb, and he's coming back as a lion. He will destroy this evil, this Beelzebub that is mentioned, but he's not out to destroy that supernatural peace in Jesus that we are given. And that's what I find myself having to restore on a regular basis, especially with all the news going on. So the point being is that we suffer a tremendous amount of peer pressure. I don't know another word for it, but it could be, you go back to Proverbs. It's more than just death itself. It's about your conduct in this world. And with peer pressure, it could be for good or bad. I don't know. It's kind of a lost thing to have peer pressure against stealing, but that would be a positive thing. The bad peer pressure is to go along, to get along, even if it's immoral, corrupt, bad, sinful, and against your own conscience. And what I want to do, I found this really great video that expresses it better than I could in 100 years. So I'm going to use clips. It's really chopped up. This person has a YouTube channel, Body Language Ghost, and I'll leave links to both of these. But because of the, I would say the censorship going on, I said a word that's going to get flagged. I'll leave the link to the BitChute channel, which will give you all the context of it, and it is expressed so beautifully. And I'll play these clips and invite you to follow the links to see everything that this person says. And also, if I'm trying not to lose the context of it, but it's a really good video. And then I will have some closing thoughts.
So what you will be watching first is the MILGRAM experiment. Basically how people respond to authority figures.
We don't know each other. No. We don't actually know how punishment affects learning.
After a brief introduction, our subjects are tricked into thinking they've chosen their role as teachers in the experiment.
And if you could just tell me what your positions are.
Learner.
Learner and teacher.
Learner.
Our subjects observe the learner being instructed by the scientist, who is just another actor.
This electrode is connected to a generator in a second room where we'll be going with the teacher.
Okay.
Just make sure that we have a good contact with the skin and so it doesn't cause any blistering or burning. Is that comfortable?
That's okay, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just place these straps around your arms just to avoid any excess movement. Those aren't too tight.
No, that's okay.
No. The teacher will read out some word pairs to you. Blue girl.
The learner is told he's going to be asked a series of memory questions by the teacher. He will have to remember word pairs and then correctly remember them when offered multiple choices.
If the answer is incorrect, you will receive an electric shock.
The teacher is then taken next door and shown the generator, which ranges from 15 volts all the way up to a lethal 450 volts. The domestic electricity supply in the UK is, of course, 240 volts. Our teachers are given the list of questions and told to increase the voltage each time the learner gets a question wrong. They are then given an example of a low voltage shock.
And try and estimate in volts the amount of shock you feel you're getting.
Okay. Jesus. Oh, shit.
Do you know how much that was?
Enough.
75.
It was actually 45. Which is
Oh my God.
Teacher, begin.
Shoe horn.
Steam.
The point of this test is to see whether the teachers, our subjects, will call a stop to the experiment or continue to the point where they are administering seemingly lethal electric shocks to the victim simply because the scientist is telling them to.
That's correct.
Captain.
According to plan, our accomplice provided many wrong answers. Each protest was coordinated to a particular shock voltage on the generator, and his responses were played via a CD.
That's wrong, 150 volts. The correct answer is Captain Shoe.
Cup.
That's wrong. 225 volts.
Take it off! I've had enough of this!
He's in a lot of pain,
Continue, please.
but he's not comfortable.
We must continue to the end of the experiment. Whether the learner likes it or not, he has to go on until he's learnt the words correctly.
Okay. Forest. That's wrong, 240 volts. Are you sure this is not causing any lasting damage? He sounds like he's in a lot of pain.
Well, the shocks might be painful, they're not harmful.
What does that mean, though? They're not harmful. Sorry, I'm not getting you. When you say that they might be painful but not harmful,
They cause no long-term damage.
because what does that mean? That it doesn't leave any scars?
It causes no damage.
Now, we'll make a comment on this one because I like this guy. He's pushing back on the authoritative figure, and it's causing him, one, distress to push back. You see him slumped. He's not really giving a strong body position to the authoritative figure. But he's also distressed looking at this machine that is giving the subject, who is an actor, pain. And he knows as it goes up that it's got to be giving him damage. Because a little later on here, I see that it's in kill range. Now you look at his mind and you see that he is in duality. Am I more afraid of this authoritative figure and pushing back on him and possibly in this little social circle destroying my social standing with an authoritative figure? Because authoritative figures, mentally to humans, they give the people around them power. And the other part of his mind is, do I continue on the path of electrocuting the subject in the other room until I kill them? Which one is he more afraid of?
Fine.
And that's what I mean by, is his standing in the social order for the authority figure was one of the dilemmas. So if you quit, we have to end the experiment. In other words, you have to leave. And you see the hesitancy. Oh, so I continue to electrocute the man in the other room, or I have to leave the power position of being in the group, which is a very strong pull on humans. And you see him hesitate and think about it before he goes, you know what, my morality is more important.
fine. I'm not going to do this.
The results of our experiment were almost identical to the original. Over 50% of participants continued up to 450 volts. The majority of people will administer lethal electric shocks just because a guy in a white coat is telling them to.
450 volts.
450 volts.
450 volts.
450.
Hello. Yes. Now this is the point where we're getting at of why you watch the MILGRAM experiment. A woman has, and he finds out that it's completely blank. And as he is opening it and sees that it's blank, a quick scan, he starts to withdraw because he brought this woman a blank paper, which is going to add more stress to him. A woman, we're going to assume she's a patient. She may not be, but we're going to assume it, has come to him wanting a package insert with the data on it. He's already found one that was blank, threw it out, went to the box that they get, found another one, and goes to give it to her, assuming that it is not blank. And now he's messed up again. So we have a high stress person who's trying not to be confrontational and do his job, trying to appease the patient. And now on the other side of his mind is being part of the group that's doing his job the way he's supposed to be doing his job. He's not what I would call a very strong, formidable figure. He's trying to make himself small, even though he's wearing an authoritative looking white coat.
May I take this with me?
And obviously you can tell by his speech pattern that it's getting worse, the stress. It's to the point where the muscles in his throat can't really speak. His brain is stuttering and he doesn't know what to do. And the woman is actually being quite nice to him. I understand, which is basically just calm down. I'm trying to be very nice to you. I'm not screaming. I'm your friend. Let's just talk. But he's stressed and he cannot calm down. And he's trying, which is why you see him pumping his hand, touching his face, throwing his hands up in the air.
Based on what you're saying, I can no longer advocate
At all. His arms actually come out. He's now stepped forward. He's become a man. I'm going to take dominance. Step forward, throw my arms out. No, take him away from myself. I'm big man now. And then, as you see, as soon as he ends that, he wants again to step away. He puts his hands in his pockets, and he'd rather stay with the group.
because I am told to, and that's how because I am told to, and I am told.
I understand that.
And again, he keeps trying to get away from the situation because I'm told to, because I am told to. He's a person. It's because he'd rather stay with the group and not be ostracized.
And everything I have shown, including the patients that I have given it to, it is safe.
Goes back to his schooling, and things are in conflict. So the authoritative spot of a school versus the authoritative spot of your job versus the moral and empathy of the patient in front of you.
That you're exactly right.
Okay.
And you're exactly.
He's humbled himself. I've given you my truth. I'm really feeling inadequate because he's torn. Morality, empathy versus staying with the group authority. And for him, it would seem at this moment, group authority wins.
Just learn more about it.
Hands in a fist, which that was the stress that was there in the beginning. But he's relaxed. I would say just a nidge, but not much.
Block me. You know, it's because they can't answer my questions. They get uncomfortable, and I get that. But then why even continue this if you don't know the information?
That is an absolutely valid question.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking your time with me. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Well, he could not wait to get away from that. I guess we humans need to start realizing that morality needs to start trumping authority, then authority trumping morality. I guess we humans need to start realizing that morality needs to start trumping authority, then authority trumping morality.
I'd very much like to thank Bombard for drawing such a clear picture of a conscience at work. And then in 1 Corinthians 15, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? You see, Jesus came to destroy death. We are in the already not yet mode of our existence, but it's a done deal. He came to die to destroy death, which we're still left with that major dilemma of our conscience and peer pressure. Even in the Old Testament, Isaiah speaks, I also will choose their delusions and will bring their fears upon them. Okay, now that we're talking fear again. Because when I called, none did answer, and when I spoke, they did not hear. But they did evil before my eyes, and chose that in which I delight not. And again in 2 Thessalonians, and this will cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they would believe a lie. And again, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and will the deceitfulness and unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. For this is the cause God shall send them a strong delusion. You got that? We're talking about a seared conscience. God will delude people even more, that they might believe the lie. Okay, I mean, things look positively dreadful at this point. But our Savior is coming back as a lion.
I guess we humans need to start realizing that morality needs to start trumping authority, than authority trumping morality. I guess we humans need to start realizing that morality needs to start trumping authority, than authority trumping morality.